I have a question for you. Why do some people command respect as soon as they walk into a place, while others blend in? The background looks like furniture. Is it luck that charisma gave us a secret handshake? Get the message on Nope It's Habits, and today I'm going to tell you all about rare, almost controversial habits that can make you famous without you even knowing it. Without having to lie, some of these will make you agree, some will make you cringe, and a few will, well, ready to level up. They'll make you question everything you thought you knew about being liked. Okay, let's do this one. Learn how to tell a good story. Tell a good story. Telling stories is a talent, not just a nice thing to have. It's what makes people remember you. People are naturally curious and like to tell stories. The debatable part is that most people are terrible at it. Yes, I said it. Ramble or leave out the important details that make the story worth reading. Let's fix the first rule of good storytelling. Stories are fun to listen to in the first place. Make people feel something. No one cares about the time you went to the store unless someone chased you. A mouse with a baguette in its mouth. Drama, fun, suspense. Those are the tools you need. So now I'll talk about myself. A few years ago, I went to a networking event with G. I know those things are already the worst. This big CEO asked me, "What's something unique about you?" My brain stopped working, and instead of writing down my accomplishments, I told a boring story about how I walked into they went to the wrong wedding and ended up giving a toast. The room was filled with laughter. That story stuck with people better than any dull elevator pitch ever could. That's because it was memorable, understandable. People don't remember facts, they remember feelings. Now for the debatable part. Truth isn't important in good stories. What matters is effect. Now, I'm not saying you should lie, but do you need to make it up a bit to make it more interesting? Definitely. Did that squirrel really hold a baguette? Maybe not. But the way people think of the chef's kiss is theater. If your story doesn't have a twist, surprise, or funny ending, they will not read it. In a moment, it became clear that what was being told was not a story, but a shopping list. The point of telling stories isn't just to entertain people, it's about telling a story is a way to connect with people because it lets them into your world. Here's a piece of me, you say. Do you relate? That's how people connect. Think about the people you love most. They probably have interesting stories to tell. It's not because they've had crazy lives. It's because they know how to talk about them in a way that makes sense. That hits home for you. You don't have to have climbed Everest or escaped a bear attack. Even the smallest things, like a people will hear about a bad cooking project or a strange chat with your friend if you tell them the right way. You need to write a story about something that happened to you lately. Make it exciting by adding a few twists and turns. It has some funny parts and a great finish. Try it out at your next group or dinner party. Chat, trust me, people will listen to you when you have the best stories. Don't worry, we'll remember you and maybe even fight for the place next to you. But if you don't want to be forgotten, your call to laughs. But don't do it too much. Laugh, but don't laugh too much. Laughter is magical. It brings people together and makes them feel safe and like they fit, but too much laughing can be weird. Yes, I did say that laughing at everything can make you look nervous, or worst of all, it sounds like you're trying too hard. This may be unpopular, but we've all met that one person who laughs at everything, which, let's be honest, doesn't make them seem very calm. I don't know what to do with my hands, so let's take this apart first. Talk about how smiling too much can hurt you when you laugh too much at bad things. It takes away from jokes, strange comments, or things that aren't even meant to be funny. People can tell when you're trying too hard to laugh when you're really laughing. And the truth is that forced laughter doesn't bring people together. It drives them apart. Story time. I used to be that person in college. I had a big crush on them. I would laugh at someone in my class every time they said something nearly funny, like it was the funniest joke ever. Did it make them like me more? Nope, they started using me as their laugh track instead, you know. They talk to that person when they need to boost their ego, which is not a good look. On the other hand, if you don't laugh enough, you'll look cold and unfriendly, and no one will want to hang out with you. Getting someone who is always serious to laugh is hard. You need to find that laugh that feels real, links you to the people around you, and now comes the debatable part. In situations where someone tells a mean joke, sometimes the best thing you can do is not laugh. It's just plain rude to stay quiet. Real laughing sends a louder message. I recall sitting there when someone made a joke about a coworker in a meeting. Everyone gave this awkward look. I laughed a little, but I didn't tell you what happened when my friend came up to me, then told him, "Thanks for not laughing. That meant a lot." Boom, instant respect. What's interesting about laughing is that it's not just a response to humor. It also shows who you are. Laughing at the right times shows that you're aware, that you can laugh, and that you're not afraid to have fun. People can tell you're real when you laugh naturally. You don't have to laugh to please other people. You just laugh because you want to, because something really makes you laugh. That's the greater message. Laughing shows how you see the world, so don't act like you don't see it just to fit in. Real relationships happen when don't act like your dad jokes are Oscar-worthy. Let people see your real vibe. Here's your challenge. When someone makes a joke, ask yourself if you really think it's funny. If the answer is yes, laugh like you mean it. If not, try not laughing and see what happens. How it makes you feel. Crazy things will start happening. People will start taking you more really, because your laughter is rare, real, and well-deserved. And hey, if you don't know where to begin, remember that smiling at yourself is always a good idea. Sure, life is too short to be too cool for a laugh. Just don't laugh too much unless you have to. Watch cat movies and then lose it. Genuinely praise someone. 3. Give sincere praise. Compliments are the social currency of people. When given correctly, a praise can make someone's whole day and make them think, wow, this person really thinks I did something wrong. Might come off as fake, manipulative, or, worst of all, forgotten. I said it again. Complimenting someone is both an art and a science. There are a lot of weak general comments being thrown around like nice shirt. So let's first things first. If you're just giving compliments to get people can tell right away if you're up to no good, if you ask for something in return. When your "I love your shoes" is followed right away by the way, since you helped me move this weekend, I've lost all faith in you. That's not a "this is how you play the praise game," and no one likes being played. Gets heated. Not everyone deserves praise. There, I said it. Why are we giving out praise and gold stars to people who didn't try? Should be won, not given as a prize for involvement. Let's raise the bar, folks. A personal story. I worked with Sarah a few years ago. Sarah wasn't the biggest or most well-liked person in the office, but she was great at writing emails that I could understand. I told her one day, "Sarah, your writing is clear, and dare I say it, almost poetic. Your emails are so well written that I want to frame them," she said with a laugh. She shut up and said, "Wow, no one's ever noticed that before." What happened next? Sarah started walking a little more, which made the ER more helpful. We met again and became real friends because I liked something that was detailed and real. That's how a real praise works. It makes people feel good, feel seen. But here's the thing, giving a real praise takes work. You have to pay attention. You can't just smile at someone. Vibes praises should be detailed, show that you thought about them, and ideally be connected to something unique about that person, like your haircut instead of nice haircut. Your new haircut makes your eyes look really good. Now, let's link right away. Saying nice things about someone's actions or personality will always hit harder than saying nice things about their I really respect how patient you were in that meeting, or you have such a peaceful presence if you make people feel at ease. That's a praise, it's rare, and it stays put. Here's another spicy takeout place. When you don't know what to say, using praise as an escape means you know what I mean. And you say, nice shoes, to fill the void. That's not a praise. That's just social noise. Instead, enjoy the quiet or say something important. It will make people value you more. And here's the greater message. Thanks are more than just words. They're little acts of kindness that let you know I see you. I appreciate you. And in a world where everyone is busy, and compliments that are sincere are gifts because they show that you're there and paying attention. Really, isn't that what we all want? Here's your chance. Today, give one praise that is so genuine and accurate that it surprised someone by saying nice things about how they handled a tough situation, the watch, how hard they worked on a project, or even how they made you feel. See how good it makes you feel, and remember, the best comments aren't just about the person you're telling them, they're also about you, so make sure they mean something. Say more nice things about the weather. Let's try harder, people. Quickly take responsibility for your mistakes. 4. Take responsibility for your mistakes right away. Now let's talk about something no one wants to hear. We all make big mistakes from time to time, but here's the thing. People who fade into the background are different from people who command respect because they can't avoid. Nobody can avoid making mistakes. What matters is how quickly they own up to them. Being sure of yourself and not making a lot of excuses sounds easy, right? It seems like a lot of people try to avoid taking responsibility for their mistakes, but the truth is that avoiding blame doesn't help. Being honest about your mistakes can make people feel better, but this part is debatable. I like you more even when you're sorry because it shows that you're grown up. Self-awareness and responsibility, which by the way are ridiculously rare traits these days, but if you're out here avoiding duty, or even worse, act like it never happened. You're just putting together a big house of cards, and I know it will fall down. Let me be honest. I used to be the queen of excuses. Once I missed a due date and said it was because of email problems. Did I get away with it? Moment, but people aren't stupid. Over time, I saw my trustworthiness drop because no one believed I would take responsibility for my actions. I learned this the hard way, folks. A few years later, I accidentally scheduled myself for 2 important events at the same time. A work talk and my best friend's birthday dinner was a complete mess. I didn't lie. I called my boss, admitted it, and asked if the talk could be moved. I also called my best friend and said they'd make it up to her in a big way. Guess what? People admired me more because I own up to my mistake. It turns out that they don't expect you to be perfect. They just expect you to do your best. This is pretty shocking right now. Here's why it matters when you own up to your mistakes. You quickly take charge of the story. You're not sitting around waiting for someone to call you out, or you're stepping up and saying, "Hey, I messed up," like a bad smell. This is what I'm going to do to fix it. This kind of responsibility is strong. Being open and honest shows that you're not afraid to be weak, and faith grows in weak people. It's a question of trust. Do you trust the person who always seems flawless more, or the second type of person who says, "Yeah, I messed up, but I'm fixing it," right? They're real, and real always wins, but don't go overboard. There's a thin line between taking responsibility for your mistakes and making a big deal out of every little thing. People who forget to send an email have to say sorry for 20 minutes. The faster you say sorry, fix it, and move on, the better. The sooner you own up to your mistake, the less power it has over you and everyone else. Now here's the catch. When you own up to your mistakes, you show other people that it's okay to do the same. It's a gift to make people feel safe enough to say they're wrong. Imagine a world where everyone did that. didn't act like they were perfect wild, right? But it starts with you owning. It's not just about keeping your image safe. It's also about showing people you're real and human. You can't get that from a fancy title or Instagram post, so here's what you need. Own it fast the next time you mess up, and trust me, it will happen. Don't run away, don't blame your dog, and don't wait for the right time to say, I messed up. Okay, here's how I'm going to fix it. Now, move on. Oh, and extra points if you can laugh about it. It afterward, because mistakes aren't what make us who we are. It's what we do next, how we deal with them that people remember. So go out there and make a huge mess. And do it like a Pro 5. Learn names and use them. Learn the names of people. Okay, let's be honest. Forgetting someone's name is a crime in every country. When you're interacting with other people, we've all been there, your brain is running around and all you can think is, oh my God, is that Steve Stan? Starfish. It's awkward, it's embarrassing, and you can avoid it learning. It is a rare and overlooked trait to actually use other people's names. Quickly makes you more popular, but here's the disputed part. Yes, I said it. People are too lazy to do it. Let's fix that. Why do names are very important? Because they are more than just labels. They are a small part of who someone is. The more you remember and use someone's name, the more I care about them. It's like giving them a word hug. But here's where people go wrong. They don't even try. How many times have you heard someone say that? Say, oh, I'm just bad with names, as if it were a physical problem number. Just so you know, telling people you're bad at names is like telling them you're bad at math, but never try to fix it. When you practice, the issue is not your memory, but your work. This is a story from a few years ago. I worked at a big company and talked to a lot of people every day. There was one security guard. A guy named Jim smiled at everyone and said hello, but most people didn't stop to learn his name. One day, I made it a point to tell Jim good morning, and you know what? He lit up like I'd gave him a winning lottery ticket. Fast forward a few months, and Jim was the one who won. Who came to my rescue when I locked myself out of my office? I felt connected to him because I saw him. That's the power of using someone's name. It makes a link, ties where none existed before. If you don't agree with this, if you don't try to remember someone's name, it sounds like you don't care. Really think about it. How can you expect people to like or respect you, if you can't remember this one simple fact about them? I'm not telling you to remember everything. You can be on the wedding guest list, but calling someone Bud after meeting them 3 times is rude. Don't forget the worst sin of all, using the wrong name. Oh, you think? Don't forget that calling someone Jessica when their name is Jennifer is rude. The game is over, so let's work hard. Here's how to do it first. Say the name again and again as soon as you hear it. Please repeat the name. Remember that Priya likes pizza and that she got her pizza done third. Talk about it informally. So Priya, what do you think? If you forget, just ask again. It's better to be honest than to lie. Their name forever. Here's a pro tip. People love hearing their name. It makes them feel good. Brain chemicals that make us feel good, so using their name in a subtle way during a talk, it makes them feel important and makes you look like the most interested person in the room. But let's go further. It's not just a social trick to remember someone's name. It's a way to honor their presence in a world where people forget things. If you feel ignored and devalued, calling someone by their name is a small act of, I see you, you matter kindness. And isn't that what we all want to be? It's funny how something so small can make a difference, but the truth is, small habits like these are what make people stand out from the rest. Remember, this week is your challenge. Make it your goal to remember the name of every new person you meet and say it at least twice in afterward. Text or write down their name for extra points in the chat. It might seem strange at first, but believe me, if you do this, people will notice and respect you. I appreciate it more, and if you make a mistake, don't worry about it. Just laugh it off and try again. Just the fact that I tried shows that I care, and my friends are what make six. People will remember your thoughts, but don't be a just say what you think. Don't be a jerk. Jerk about it all. Let's talk about the big problem that people have opinions. Too many of us agree with others without saying anything because we're afraid of saying the wrong thing. I agree with what's being said, but here's the truth. If you don't have an opinion, you don't stand out, ever. Being an echo chamber doesn't make you more popular. Status, it hides you, but this is where things get contentious. If you have an opinion, you don't have to storm through every talk like a bulldozer at a tea party. Find a good mix between being sure of yourself and being kind. Let's talk about how to have strong opinions without being person first. Having your own thoughts is attractive because it shows you care about. You have beliefs and aren't afraid to stand up for them, no matter what. On pineapple on pizza, yes, it's great. Don't insult me or your point of view on something. Tell us what you think. Bigger issues like climate change. Expressing your ideas makes you more unique. But this is where people go wrong. When people speak up, they either don't say anything at all or go full throttle and force their views down everyone's throat. Like someone who sits on the fence and says, "I don't know, I'm okay with whatever." There's nothing worse than someone who thinks they know everything and treats every argument like it's a court case. Open-minded story time. I used to be someone who didn't like to say what they thought. I didn't want to make a scene when someone asked me what my best movie was at a group dinner. Freaked out and said, "Oh, I like everything." Guess what happened in the conversation? Went right by me, but then someone brought up The Princess a few weeks later. Bride, and I finally said it. That's my all-time favorite movie. Why all of a sudden were we arguing about why it's the best movie ever? If you want to learn something, don't just sit back and listen to the talk. Want to connect with people? You need to bring something to the table. Your real thoughts, not just empty words. There will be parts of this that people will disagree with, and that's fine. It's okay to disagree with grace, but don't start to frown or roll your eyes. Yelling "you're wrong" is a one-way trip to social pariahville. You can say something like, "I see where you're coming from, but here's how I see it." Then you've given your view, maintained a polite tone, and likely gained more respect than if you had just nodded along. Here's the main point. Who you are and what you care about can be seen in your views. It shows what you care about and how you see the world. When you share these things with care, when you let other people do the same, you make room for real, important conversations. Conversations, not just small talk, but let me be clear. Having and being able to say, "You know what, you've got a point," or "I hadn't thought of that," doesn't mean you're always right. Seeing it that way shows strength, not weakness. It's a lesson that it's not enough to just prove a point in a talk. You should also learn from them. First, know your stuff. If you're going to say something, make sure it's. If you're not educated, don't be that person who talks nonsense just to sound smart. 2. Pick your fights. Not every hill is worth dying on. 3. Have an opinion and are interested in what you think. Ask questions like, "Why do you think that?" or "What's your take on this?" It turns a possible fight into a talk, so here's your task. If someone asks you what you think about something, like your favorite ice cream, don't hold back. Whether it's a small thing like flavor or a big one like how to end world hunger, tell the truth. But do it with kindness and interest. And don't worry if someone doesn't agree with you. Remember that your opinion isn't just about being heard. Don't take it personally. Getting to know each other better is the point, so share your feelings and let everyone know who you really are, because I promise that's what makes people remember you. Okay, everyone, we've reached the... We didn't just talk about how to improve your social status today. We rethought it, because let's be honest, The point isn't to show off on social media or act like you have everything together. It's to build real relationships, making relationships, giving people a sense of your presence and being your real self. There's more though. None of these habits matter if you don't change them. You're just taking notes and not doing anything. So tell me, what's one? You're going to start today by learning names and taking responsibility for your making mistakes, or just being brave enough to say what you think without worrying about being judged. Leave your answer in the comments, and don't worry, we won't judge unless it's pineapple on pizza. No, really. Do you now, if you found even one pearl of knowledge, or at least to have a good laugh, please hit that like button. It's free and helps the... Let's be honest, it's like a virtual high five. But don't stop there. Spread this video to that friend whose status could use a boost. You know the person I mean, the one who still calls everyone dude. They can't remember names, so send this to them. It might help them. I hope today's lesson sticks with you a little more than just in your social life. Being popular doesn't mean being the biggest or having the most fans. It means how you make other people feel. What do they think about being with you? Do they feel seen? Do they feel respected? When you leave, you'll think, wow, that person really has something special. We should all try to make a difference, but let's be honest, none of us are best at this. Still making mistakes and learning, but that's the great thing about it. Rank isn't something that stays the same, it's something that changes. Every day, what you say, what you do, and how you show up for other people shape your life. You can level up at any time, and you're in the right place if you want to keep doing it. Subscribe and join this amazing group of interested, driven, and a little naughty people who want to grow together. I mean, who wouldn't want to be in a group like that? Also, if you have ideas for future posts about habits, life hacks, or even just weird things you like, if you don't want to Google them, leave them in the comments. Your ideas are what keep this channel going and are some of my best. It's all from you guys, so don't hold back. Now excuse me while I leave. Every time you talk to someone, smile, or say something nice, you have the chance to make their day a little better. These little things, like knowing their name, don't just make you more popular. They build a, it may be cheesy, but better world is 100% true. Be brave, kind, and don't be afraid to be yourself out there because please don't forget to laugh. The world doesn't need another copy. It needs you. It's not worth it to stress out over small things along the way. Thanks for spending time with me today. You're great, you can do it, and you're already ahead of the game by being here. See you in the next movie. Wonderful, stay interested, and always be yourself. Peace.